Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, martes el 8 de noviembre. For your B-Day classes, miércoles el 9 de noviembre. You guys didn't have any homework due for today? Your homework for next class are core workbook pages 22 and 23. We'll take a look at that here toward the end of class. Daily objective is to review the notes that we took on last class, distinguishing the differences in use between the verbs saber and conocer, both of those verbs meaning to know. There you have the conjugations on page 56 of the textbook. Talked about how the conjugations are irregular in the yo form for both verbs, and saber, conocer, both meaning to know, but saber is used to know facts, information, or to know how to do something. So the context clues that we're going to talk about today are verbs in the infinitive, like this last example, sé jugar ajedrez. Saber is always going to be followed by an infinitive when you want to indicate that you know how to do something, right? An action or a verb. And saber is also going to be accompanied by an interrogative. Interrogatives are who, what, when, where, why, and how in English. Interrogatives in Spanish are, I believe, on page 11, maybe 10. Yeah. ¿Dónde? ¿Cuánto? ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? ¿Cuánto? ¿Qué? ¿Quién? ¿Cuándo? A lot of different interrogatives here. And you can go back to the very beginning of the year as we went over these. I want to say maybe the second or third week of school. You have notes on those interrogatives. So these interrogatives are great clues for the verb saber because saber is to know knowledge, right? To know facts or information. So of course you're going to see an interrogative like quién when we're talking about knowing something, facts or information. Conocer, on the other hand, is to know a person, place, or thing, to be familiar with someone, some place, or something. So the clues for conocer are going to be nouns. They're going to be people, references to people, and references to places. So this is what we went over last class. And what we're going to do today is kind of delve down a little bit deeper, looking for those context clues in context, practicing with the conjugations of saber and conocer, and then give you guys an opportunity to start your homework. First things first, though, your warm-up is a fill-in-the-blank warm-up, filling in the blank with the correct form of either saber or conocer. Take a look at the context, take a look at the word that comes after the blank. That word is a person or a place, like how it is here in this example, then you would use the verb conocer. Conjugated in the yo form would be conozco. Shouldn't be a C there. It's a spelling error. No C. For the second blank, it would be sabes. Saber in the to form, and the clue there for saber is the interrogative donde. For the second example, los perros saben encontrar cualquier cosa por el olor. Our clue is encontrar. Dogs know how to find, or they're able to find anything using their sense of smell. So we have a verb in the infinitive, and that is our clue for saber. So for your warm-up for today, fill in the blank with the correct form of the verb saber or conocer according to the context. It's your warm-up for today. Go over the notes that we took last class. There's a PowerPoint here that you could find in the agenda. You can also find it under modules in Canvas. We talked about the conjugations of saber, when to use saber, and then I had you all do a mini dialogue, mini conversation with your partner to ask them, are they able to do the following activities? ¿Sabes bailar la salsa? Do you know how to dance salsa? Sí, yo sé bailar la salsa. Or, no, yo no sé bailar la salsa. Continued mini conversations about things you know how to do or don't know how to do. And then we went over to conocer. Conocer, to know people or places. And then I asked you to identify who you would like to get to know and where would you like to go or where would you like to travel. So, ¿a quién quieres conocer? Who would you like to get to know or who would you like to meet? Yo quiero conocer a, and then the person's name or the people's name. Porque me gusta, and then replace bailar with an activity, a hobby that you would associate with that person. Again, the whole point of this chapter is extracurricular involvement, right? Your hobbies, your interests, extracurricular activities you're engaged in. I want you to identify that activity and connect it to that person. Or you could choose a different description if it's easier for you to justify why. And then same thing for the next question. ¿A dónde quieres conocer? Excuse me, where would you like to get to know? What part of the country, what part of the world would you like to discover? Quiero conocer, yo quiero conocer, and then the place. Porque quiero, and then replace ver los canguros with an experience that you want to have at that place. Quiero ver, yo quiero comer, quiero visitar, quiero conocer. Maybe there's family you want to meet or see. So quiero is I want. And then after quiero, indicate what experience you would associate with that place. This slide demonstrated the verbs that are used in each of these scenarios and the reasons why. How'd you guys identify the verb that you think should be used to make these sentences in Spanish? Saber or conocer, and then the reasons why are in parentheses, referring to the notes that we took on page 56. And then what we're going to do today, we're going to do one practice here where you're filling in the blank with saber or conocer and the correct form. For example, number 1, blank to a la novia de Ryan. Novia is girlfriend. So, do you know Ryan's girlfriend? That would be the verb conocer, because we're talking about a person, in the to form. ¿Conoces tú a la novia de Ryan? Is the correct answer for number 1. So that's where we'll leave off. The video that goes along with this, I'll go ahead and play now because those of you that are watching this video because I'll be absent today aren't going to have access to the video. So I'll go ahead and play the video. At the very end, it has some fill-in-the-blank kind of mini quiz questions. And I'd like you to do those in your notebooks just for the additional practice. After the video, we'll go over the homework, core workbook pages 22 and 23.
And I know how many ants an anteater could eat if an anteater could eat ants, which it can. I also know that in Spanish, there are 2 verbs that mean to know.
These verbs are saber and conocer. Just as ser and estar both mean to be, saber and conocer both mean to know. And like ser and estar, each verb has specific situations that you use them in.
Hola, soy Profesor Pequeño, world's smartest baby. Use saber to say you know a fact or to say what you know how to do. Sé todo. Mi hermana sabe dar un discurso.
Use conocer to say you know or are familiar with a person, place, or thing. If you are talking about knowing a person, remember to use the personal a.
Conocen a mi amigo Raúl.
Conozco al presidente de los Estados Unidos.
Sé. Sabe. Sabe. Sabemos. Sabéis. Saben.
Now for the conjugation of conocer.
Conozco. Conoces. Conoce. Conocemos. Conocéis. Conocen.
Isabel, ¿de dónde eres?
Soy de San Antonio.
Conozco San Antonio. Mi hermano vive ahí.
Interesante. ¿Sabes inglés?
No, no sé inglés. Mi hermano sabe inglés, pero yo no.
All right, it's time for a quiz. Saber o conocer? Fill in the blank with the correct form of saber or conocer.
Yo. Hacer gimnasia. Yo sé hacer gimnasia. María y Julie al fotógrafo. María y Julie conocen al fotógrafo. Ana la respuesta. ¿Sabe Ana la respuesta?
All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at your homework for today. Is core workbook pages 22 and 23. You can find the PDF copy here and annotate that PDF copy of the workbook pages and then submit that image in Canvas, or you can print it out, fill it out and submit, or just do it in your notebooks. Take a picture and submit, whatever works best for you. Take a look at this video. This video will walk you through how to complete this assignment. And that is all you need from me. So core workbook pages 22 and 23 are all that is due, and nothing was due for class for today. Nos vemos en clase, muchachos. Hasta luego. Ciao.